Sammy Geek back here with a quick video on the Samsung Fold. This is kind of my 1 year review. If you guys followed me last year, you saw that I purchased a Samsung Fold and used it for a while and ended up returning it. So why am I recording another video now a year later? Let alone no lights, no fancy camera, nothing. I just wanted to get on and talk to you guys one-on-one about the Samsung Fold. So I used the Samsung Fold for a good few weeks or so when it first launched, and went back to the Note 10. The reason I went back to the Note 10 was because I just couldn't get over the feeling of this not being solid and a less durable phone, and just a little bit cumbersome to use, for lack of a better term. Great phone, but cumbersome compared to a Note 10 Plus. So I ended up sticking with the Note 10 Plus, and in theory, I guess what my thought was is that the new Fold is coming out, and I was dead set on getting it for a while at least. And so what I did is I went back out and I got another Fold, and thinking that, okay, now two reasons. Number one, possibly Samsung is going to offer a really great trade-in, which might have been, still might be the case. And number two, I wanted to kind of relive with the Fold again on a day-to-day basis and see what I thought of this phone. So because this, yes, this is the Fold 1, and the Fold 2 is going to be a little bit thinner and have some additional features and whatnot. But for the day-to-day practical purposes, it's a pretty close phone to the Fold 2. So again, I did the same thing. I compared this to my Note 10 Plus. I basically changed SIM cards for a few days and gave this thing another run for its money. My decision at the end of this period of 3 or 4 days of using this phone is I went back to the Note 10 Plus, which I'm actually recording on right now. The reason is basically because, again, I found this for the second time. A year later, I found this phone to be too cumbersome to use on a day-to-day basis. My conclusion with this phone is that it is for somebody, a very particular client. Actually, there's two things. One, it's for a particular client. If you carry a tablet and a cell phone and you want one device, this is going to be for you. If you need any type of waterproofing whatsoever, this phone is not going to be for you. I do live on a lake, and so I have sand and water in my backyard, and this makes me not a very good candidate for this phone. In fact, I just went kayaking yesterday, and I set my Note 10 Plus in the kayak with me, and every time I paddled, I was splashing water onto the Note 10 Plus. So unfortunately, I'm not really a great candidate for the Fold. I figure I would carry a spare phone with me and use it for water activities and whatnot, but now I'm just not sure that the convenience of having a little foldable tablet, I'm not sure that is paying off, having to switch SIM cards and change phones if I'm going to be in the water and things like this. So this is a very particular phone for a very particular person, there's no doubt about that. But after a second round, I'm finding that it's probably not for me. There is a second thought that I have on this thing. So envision going to a car show and sitting in a car, a concept car, any brand, you name it. So you sit in the car and you're thinking, wow, this thing's fantastic. Like, this is really cool. This is just, you're looking around at the technology and you're wowed by this thing. And you end up thinking, man, this thing would be just really cool to drive. And then you get out of the car and you forget all about it, and that was cool, a fun experience. Well, it's similar with, I think, what Samsung has done with the Fold. They've created a product that, imagine if you were to walk into a Samsung store today and see this phone in the corner with a beautiful display. You're going to walk up to this phone, you're going to take a look at it, and probably spend some time with it and fold it and unfold it and say, wow, look at this screen, this is cool, come check this out. And you're going to tell your friends about it and about this cool new tablet, this phone that unfolds into a tablet. you're going to leave the store and you're going to forget about it. Samsung took it to the next level. They created this concept that is actually for sale to the public. And so they've crossed that barrier of just, hey, cool factor at the store, but let's actually try and sell this to the public. Which, hey, I say more power to them. If you like this phone and this works for you, more power to you. I really, 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 really wish this thing would work for me. I want to love this thing. I want to use this thing every day, but it is just too cumbersome and it's too much of a concept phone for me. Samsung, congratulations on what you've created here. I think this is a work of art. I think this is the future, but you've also created some other fantastic technology that works better for me and probably a lot of other people, like the Note 10 Plus, the new Note 20 Ultra, which I'll be upgrading to soon. But the Note 10 Plus, that's a whole nother story. I think the Note 10 Plus is a fantastic phone. Very little reason to upgrade to the 20 Ultra unless you're just a tech nerd like I am. But this thing really would have to be waterproof, lighter weight. It's a brick, and it's a brick compared to the Note 10 Plus. And then it's just cumbersome to use on a day-to-day basis. One of the things I've determined also as far as this phone being cumbersome is the difference in each side. So this is obviously part of a foldable phone, but if you look over here, it's, you know, thick and rounded, and then over here you kind of have these two things that come together and they're kind of sharp on the corners. So it's just a different feel. It's not a uniform feel on both sides of the phone. So I think that's part of it too. That just kind of makes it feel cumbersome, to me anyway. The last piece of it is just the speed, and I think I mentioned this on my first round of the Samsung Fold testing, is the speed of using the phone. So when I get a text message or an email, or I need to Google search something real quick, or I'm out in the garage and I'm looking for an installation manual for something, I'm blazing fast on my Note 10 Plus. So I can pull it out of my pocket, I can just quickly tap it in, one-handed if I need to. I've got what I need. I can respond to texts in a split second. Everything is just blazing fast. And then you take an account that you can throw it around, toss it around a little bit, you know, throw it in the grass. We do have a baby, so, you know, milk can get spilled on it or whatever it is, and I don't have to worry about it. So start adding those things up. As compared to something like this, that's, you know, a brick in your pocket, you got to pull it out. Doesn't really feel smooth and uniform. And then you're either gonna have to use the small screen on the front, which they've obviously fixed for the Fold 2, or then you've got to try to unfold it, and then, you know, you're using the big screen, which you think is great, but if you're just Googling instructions to fix something that you have in the garage for whatever it is, you don't need a tablet. So the small screen or the smaller screen of like a Note 10 Plus or an S20 or whatever it might be works just fine. So you'll see my point on that. I think a lot of you will probably agree with what I'm saying if you've tried this phone. So again, I'm not hating on the Samsung Fold. I absolutely love this phone. It's just, I love it. I love seeing it sitting on my desk. It's just a fantastic phone to look at. It's fun to open and see the big beautiful screen on it. Yes, it does have the jelly scrolling effect. That doesn't bother me that much. I mean, I'm willing to deal with that. It's just a great looking phone. Again, I hate to be picky, because can you imagine the hours of engineering that went in this thing to create a phone like this, and to say, well, it has to be waterproof in order for me to use it, or it has to be lighter weight. One day Samsung will lighten this thing up. One day it'll be waterproof, and it's just not yet. So if you need a waterproof phone, Samsung has a lot of other options, which is a beautiful thing. They have the S series, they have the Note series. Myself, I'm a big Note fan, so I use the Note phones. But that is my final verdict on the Note. A year later, after trying it once and trying it twice, my determination is that I am no longer going to pre-order what they are calling now the Z Fold 2. I will not be pre-ordering that phone, and I'm going to be hanging it up for the Fold for the foreseeable future. I'm going to switch over to a Note 20 Ultra and take the incremental upgrades that they've offered us from the Note 10 Plus. And looking forward to seeing the faster refresh rate in person and using that on a day-to-day basis. And then kind of playing around with the upgraded cameras and whatnot. So that's where we stand, guys. Appreciate your time, and thanks for watching this video. Again, no fancy lights, no fancy camera. Just wanted to have a good conversation with you guys about the Fold. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, please mention those below, and I will respond to each and every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. Peace. Talk to you soon.